Supers, the case only had like 4 more of them in it, and I was like, if I buy all 4 of these, will you let me take the packaging? And the guy at King Supers was like, I guess, like just some like teenage kid. So
right, he's like,
that's weird.
Why does this old man
want his toys? That's awesome. Hey everybody, it's Gabe from Thinking Outside the Long Box doing another Patreon exclusive video. I am here with Tim Husky, butt plug enthusiast.
It's kind of a thing now.
I know it is. Boop. But yeah, so we weren't sure 100% what we were going to talk about, but we ended up deciding that Tim wants to talk a little bit about his experience at Denver Comic Con and how Artist Alley went. So
first off, it went great. Made money, made the table back.
Which is awesome.
That's
that's got to be like the ultimate goal, is make enough money to cover the table and buy dinner or something.
Yeah, so I was definitely able to do that because I hung out with you guys most of the evenings. There's some pretty schwanky places downtown.
Oh, dude, yeah, that Tom's Urban, like the food was delicious, but I looked at the price list, I was like, that's terrifying.
Night 1 or night 2, I ended up with John, Carissa, Mike Kirk, and his wife, whose name skips me right now. And we
not a midget though.
Not a midget. Weird.
Weird.
Short, but not really a midget. So we ended at some fancy steak place called like the Chop House.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not dropping like $60 on a steak this big. So I ended up getting a burger. For like, it was still like $12, but it was a good burger.
Better be for $12.
Right?
Most burgers I'm eating are at like the dollar level. Well, $1.19 at McDonald's now.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at like a flow chart, it's like
fuck McDonald's for taking away my dollar menu, by the way.
Right? It's the value meal now.
Yeah.
The value menu.
You know what? Already off topic. But
yeah, way off.
You know what? When I was a kid, you could go to Taco Bell and literally get 49-cent burritos.
Oh yeah.
I miss that.
I miss the cheesy double beef burrito.
Oh,
for like $1. Dude, like 6 tacos wrapped up in a burrito with nacho cheese.
Wrapped in a pizza and deep fried.
Yeah. With cake.
Covered in frosting, then battered. Topped with corn dogs and mustard.
When's that going to be a special at your restaurant? I'm coming.
Dude, that is absolutely the kind of food my restaurant makes. Anyway, so you made money on Artist Alley, which is good.
So I think a general goal with every artist is to make the table back day 1.
Right.
So my day 1 started off incredibly slow.
Right. You had mentioned that day.
So I was next to another guy. Hi, Chalupa. So I was next to Jamie Tyndall. He's an artist for Zenoscope. So a lot of boobs.
Right.
Like, right next to me.
Lots of boobs.
A whole lot of titty. And then the booth next to me was like this guy who does a lot of painting and sculpting and also has boobs. So here I am with like my like all ages artwork between like tits and
more tits
sculpted tits, tangible tits, not just a sheet of paper. So
quick, you started sketching nudes.
No.
Oh, okay, my bad. That's me taking the low road like usual.
Yeah. So it's like 1 o'clock, and Mike Kirk comes by. # midget porn enthusiast. He comes by and he's like, "Hey, you doing around?" He's like, "Yeah, I've made a cool like $4." And then like literally like that next hour from like 1 to like 2:30, it's like, all right, I guess people came off their lunch break or something, but like 3 commissions day 1 and then like an assload of other shit. And I was like, yes, finally.
Well, and that's kind of how the con was, like in general. Like it opened at 10,
yeah,
but it wasn't busy till 2 or 3. Like, because, I mean, we were just farting around. Well, not farting around. We were running around doing interviews and panels and stuff like that. I remember we went into a panel that was, like, right around noon. like maybe even like 1 o'clock, and there was like nobody. There were very few people at the panel.
Yeah.
And then after that was the Ron Mars panel, and there were very like even less people at that.
Yeah.
And I think is largely just the time, and that was really cool because it ended up just being like 10 people chatting with Ron Mars, which was fucking amazing. But you can listen to it on the next episode of Thinking Outside the Lines.
Boom.
Booyah. But after that panel, I got out and was like, where the fuck did all these people come from? I am not a fan of running through this goddamn crowd.
I remember, so like, right when I said like things really picked up for me, there was a guy with a 3-day pass. Those are the money makers.
Yeah.
Those are the ones like, when a guy with a 3-day pass walks by, grabs a business card, I know I'm going to see him later the weekend.
Right.
Because he wouldn't have grabbed one if he wasn't interested. He's just not ready to spend money yet.
Right, because he's waiting for day 3 for his comic books to get deals. And
yeah, so this guy, he wanted a Drax commission. So I'm like... So I started my Drax commission because I had literally nothing else to do. Because it's like, just so slow at that point. And I started the Drax commission and I'm like, I look up, I'm like, oh fuck, this row is full.
Yeah. And it was a wide, like the row you were in was kind of like the linchpin row.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of the hallway to the exit, so your row was like extra wide and
like,
ended up
being
being
still
packed.
get like backed up
Yeah.
from like people. It's nuts. But
let's talk about people that just stop.
Yeah.
Like we're all walking in the center of the aisle in the same direction, and that one dude just stops.
So like,
Want to stab him.
like Jamie Tydell, he's an artist for Zenescope, DC, Marvel. He's done work for like fucking everybody, and he's got these prints on steel, and he's got them on the end of his table that are like right by my table. So thankfully, like I don't mind when people stop for him because he's like the buffer. To get to his table, you got to stop and look at my shit now.
Right.
So that kind of like became like a good speed bump. But then like, you know, you'd get people that are like posing right in front of my table to get like their pictures taken for cosplay. It's like, can you actually go do that over by the pillar? You know, this is like a 20-foot aisleway. Do you have to be standing right in front of my table? And then on Saturday, there was like a dad and his daughter like having a slap fight right in front of my table. It's like, can you guys not do that right here?
Like a play slap fight, or he was like beating his daughter?
Like they were like slapping the shit out of each other, but they both had smiles, so I'm assuming it was a play fight. But I mean, there were a couple of times where it was like,
Oh,
and I'm like, whoa, dude.
Dad.
You're hitting your thing again. But
Don't tell me how to live my life.
whoa, bro.
Don't pretend like you're Thug.
I am Thug.
He's Cholo.
I'm Hug Life.
Hug life. But so afterthoughts. Where are the publishers? You guys did Stranger. Boom was there, and so was Coffin.
So was Valiant and Action Lab.
Yeah. And but like afterthoughts, right? So like
No Image.
no Image,
No DC.
no Dark Horse,
No Marvel.
no Marvel, no Vertigo. Like,
well, that's just a DC imprint.
but I mean, like they have tables or Aftershock. Did you say
See,
Aftershock already?
So that kind of bummed me out
So
that
there's,
Aftershock
like,
wasn't there.
hundreds of indie publishers that you could have easily convinced to come to what they're saying is the third largest comic convention in America.
Yeah, by ticket sales for
by
sure.
ticket sales. So, and then Ryan Ty like blew him up on Facebook. God bless you, Ryan. That was fucking amazing what you did.
Yeah.
Put him right on the spot. And it was like, where's Marvel? Where's DC?
Where's comic book artists and
Yeah.
writers? Like, I mean, there were tons of them. Like, we almost... So, because of the way our media passes worked, we
Yeah.
were the second-tier media, which...
Yeah.
Not next year. Fuck you guys. Next year, I'm getting a first-tier media pass.
Right.
I'm getting one of those all-access badges if I have to fucking stab somebody.
Right.
But... So, we largely interviewed independent comic book artists, comic book writers. I mean, and we talked to people that work on pretty big titles for pretty big companies.
Yeah.
Like, including Marvel and DC writers and artists, but why is Marvel and DC not there? Like, it doesn't make any kind of sense.
Like, and then like Coffin, they do Lady Death on the Morgue. I don't know if they do anything else.
No,
but
they don't. But that's just like his
they
thing.
weren't even guests at the con. Brian Polito, or however you pronounce his last name,
Bought
bought
a
a
booth.
vendor table. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. Like, really? You're not gonna like invite him as a guest?
Yeah, the guy's just been making comic books for like 40 years. Probably has one of the longest running sexy lady comic books of all time.
Yeah, probably.
Like, the fact that people still read Lady Death is always a shock to me.
Certainly one of the most popular
Yeah.
sexy lady comics, but like, where are the artists?
You know, I think the thing that bugs me probably the most about it is, you know, when Ryan put him on blast, he was very, you know, adamant about that. Where are comic book writers? Where are comic book artists? Like, we want more of that. Oh, well, we have the biggest artist alley in the nation. Well, that's great. All the more reason to bring in Marvel and DC so that artists can have those times to, like, interact with big publishers and have the opportunity to show off their art, show off their writing to, like, those people.
This was another post-con conversation I had with Brian McCain, I think his last name is. He's an artist for Valiant, and Valiant was there, and he couldn't get into the con as a guest artist.
Weird.
And he made a post and he was like, so how many of the attending artists got any kind of gig out of doing the third largest convention in North America, quote unquote? And like, I got a portfolio review from all the guys that were there, and they all like what I do, but no catches.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of books out there, but no catches. And he was like, you know, these larger cons are no longer about comics.
Right.
And I have to agree with them. Why the hell was John Cusack at a comic book convention?
Well, because he was in a movie one time.
Okay, what's he got to do with comics?
I know. We all know that. Everybody knows that.
I mean,
that's why my goal at a convention where John Cusack is would be to harass John Cusack, not to get his signature. I don't care about that.
Yeah, so...
I just want to annoy him.
And then it was like... so, like, my other pet peeve about Artist Alley was artists that aren't doing original work. So there's one guy, and I'll call him out right now. I think he goes by Bob the Artist, and I don't think he had a stitch of original work there. A lot of what he had was and it was so painfully obvious for like 90% of his work, where he would clearly take a screenshot or a still from a movie, TV show, or even a movie poster or anything, and he'd put it in Photoshop and then paint over it, and then sell his painted version of this still. And it was so painfully obvious because he had a Harley Quinn that's like when she's got the club over her head from Suicide Squad and she's doing that. Like, that's not an original piece.
Yeah.
That's clearly a painted still, or even could just be filtered. And this guy is killing it. Why are people buying this shit?
Because people are ignorant. Like, that's part of, like, I think that's part of the problem, though, is so many people are coming in because they want to get a signature from all the kids in Stranger Things, or a signature from this person that's in that movie, and they're just looking at, I want something that reminds me of the shitty movie that I liked last month. Yeah. Like, they don't want a piece of actual artwork, they want a poster that's the equivalent of the poster that you buy at Walmart.
And I give DCC credit because this year they put Artist Alley right in the middle of everything.
Right.
So it's impossible to get to anywhere in that con without passing through it at some point. Except for the guys all the way down.
Yeah.
Where my buddy AC was. He was in like no man's land where he was facing like where parents drop off their kids.
Oh, yeah.
the pop culture classroom area that's like,
right.
There's no foot traffic down there. And like, I see, like, people like that. Like, he wasn't the only one. There were hundreds of artists like that there.
Right.
And I'm like, why are you buying this bullshit? Go to Google Image and just...
make it.
Print it yourself. Yeah. Like, if you want that image so bad.
Because that's all that he's doing.
That's a lot of people were doing. And it's like, that kind of stuff, like, why is Artist Alley not vetted, for one? Like, I get you want to bring in people that are going to make money. You want to bring in, like, new talent. But is that talent when you're, like, basically putting a filter over a screenshot and then selling it? Because now, by law, it's considered an original piece of artwork. Like,
so,
that annoys the ever-loving shit out of me.
So I kind of have the same problem with the media badges. So I feel like we put together a really good product.
Yeah. Like,
when we interview, we take our interviews seriously.
I sat through your Stranger Things one after I got my portfolio review from those guys.
I mean, I research the people, I talk to them about what they're working on, like I actually like interact with them about the things that they work on, and I go into an interview knowing who the person is probably like 90% of the time. Like there's definitely times where, hey, I need you to do this interview right now, or like a lot of the on the spots where I was just walking up and down Artist Alley, I was like, I really like that art, so I asked them about their art, right? Because I don't know them personally, or you know, it wasn't set up beforehand. So when we got done with the interview with John Stith, the first thing his wife, who I think is also his manager, or vice versa, I don't know how she would prefer to be labeled first, but his manager, who might also be his wife, but she said, you really stood out today compared to the other people that interviewed us. I was like, oh yeah, why is that? She goes, well, you actually knew who he was. I was like, wow, like these are people that like set up interviews with him, like, and knowing when they set up the interviews with us, they had like a month to like at least know what he does, you know, do some research to understand that he writes books. So we're on this closed group that's Denver Comic Con 2017 media page.
I wanted to mention something about that.
And so everybody's posting their coverage, right? There's this dude that's posting his interview coverage, right? And it's him like with a handheld microphone interviewing people on video. Like, I don't need to use a handheld microphone. My phone's gonna pick this up just fine, I hope. But
fix it in post.
But he's just, you know, sitting there interviewing him just in the middle of the con floor, even though we have access to the media room. He didn't use it, you know. And he's got the microphone in his face, and he says, and what's your name again? And you write books? Yeah? I mean,
that's painful.
It's like, dude, how did you get a media badge to, like, fart around on your phone? Like, it's the same thing. Like, how were they not vetted? Like, I get that they're looking at a lot of stuff, but just because somebody has like 1,000 YouTube posts, doesn't mean that anybody is watching that stuff.
I'm just of the mind, like, okay, so you're the third largest comic book convention in the North America, maybe even the world. Who fucking knows? Why wouldn't you want to take it to the next level and always try to do that much better? It takes,
instead of just doing the same things.
It takes. I know they've got a like predominantly voluntary staff, but it takes maybe a day to go through and like either look at pictures for the artists that have submitted to get a table, or maybe not the reading aspect so much, but like the podcasts or the guys that are like recording video. Like, it takes seconds to like, okay, this looks pretty good. Okay, this one looks pretty good. He didn't really know anything about this guy. We'll just save him for, we'll put him on the whole
extras.
Yeah. And there were a lot of people, because there was Vision Comics and Oddities had like a pre-show with Neil Adams. And two of the guys that were in his show were on the hold list for Artist Alley. And I'm thinking to myself, I know a handful of people that are going to be at Artist Alley that, I don't want to say they don't deserve to be there, because if they paid, then they deserve. If they're an artist, then they deserve to be there. But, like, these two guys, like, they had their own indie comic, were on the hold list for Artist Alley. I was like, damn, I really hope you guys make it in, because they had a solid, independent, like, self-published book and great art.
Right.
Like, they could have really stand to gain from being in this convention. And it's just like,
Tell me when.
Ready?
In 5, 4.
It was already recording.
Anyway, thanks for joining us for another Patreon exclusive. This has been Tim Husky, Butt Plug Enthusiast. You can find him at
Aggravated Artist on Facebook, Instagram, and Gmail. If you like the stuff, shoot me a message. Hit you up with some sweet commission art.
Yeah. Be sure to visit us at www.totlb.com for like all of our contact stuff. If you're here, you're already a Patreon supporter. We wanted to say thank you very much. Here's Chalupa Batman.
He just grabbed it by the pussy.
He is a pussy grabber.
I am. Very hairy pussy.
Oh, Jesus. Wrap it up. I'm done.
In 5, 4,